We are going to be discussing this bullshit. Well, not we, me, going to be bitching about this fucking Cleopatra shit. Because quite honestly, I don't give a fuck about the docuseries. I really don't. I'm really more about the race swapping that's going on. And apparently, I ran across Bounty into Comics tweet on fucking Twitter, and oh my god, I honestly dismisses it. Can't dismiss race swapping, but whatever. Netflix's Queen Cleopatra star Adele James dismisses Egyptian complaints about docuseries race swapping. Blackwashing isn't a thing. Is that Cleopatra? Last time I checked, Cleopatra was a white bitch, but whatever. Though there has been a loud backlash from Egyptian nationals, including the country's government itself, damn, towards Netflix's race swapping of their history for Queen Cleopatra, the docuseries star Adele James cares little for any of it, as she believes that all of it is based on nothing more than a mix of self-hatred. This bitch did not just say self-hatred. You're gonna tell Egyptian people that their complaints about what you're doing to Cleopatra is self-fucking hatred. You do realize that Egyptian people, African people, and black people in America are completely different, culture wise and everything. Everything is different. Egyptians are not Africans. Africans are not Egyptians. Black people in America are not African or Egyptian. Stop it. Fucking stop it. Respect these people, their races, their nationality, their fucking cultures. Respect it. There's no self-hatred involved. The Egyptian people are saying, yo, this is incorrect. She was not black. This bitch was white. Enough. You are race swapping. It's fucking stupid. And then you say, of course, racism. The Egyptian people themselves are saying, you are doing this shit incorrectly. She is not black. She just isn't. James broke her silence on the topic during a recent appearance on the 79th episode of the Wayne Ayers podcast. I hope it's his name, that last name, right? Asked by the eponymous host for her opinion on the fact that people are mad about Cleopatra being blackwashed, the British, oh God, actress replied, I don't need the timestamp. Blackwashing isn't a thing. Because she says blackwashing isn't a thing, and then she says, "Is it?" Because she's not sure. Blackwashing is most definitely a fucking thing. I just say race swapping, but you can say blackwashing, just like there is whitewashing. Uh, well, in the context that people use it, yes. Whitewashing and blackwashing is a thing in the context that they use it. If I'm correct, whitewashing actually means something entirely different. Uh, but yeah, but blackwashing in the context of what you're talking about, yes, it exists, and it's what you're doing right now. You've changed Cleopatra, a white woman, into a black woman. So yes, you have just blackwashed, and not only that, but you've blackwashed history by doing this. Stop it. At this point, a bit of technical difficulties caused some of James' response to be cut off. Oh, of course it did. But when as her microphone kicked back in, she could be heard asserting, "I find it sad that people are either so self-loath bitch or so threatened by the black bitch that they feel the need to do that to separate Egypt from the rest of the bitch, it's a fact. Bitch, it's a fact. It is a fact, bitch. That is a fucking fact. The shit that the Egyptian people went through is completely different from what the African people went through. Egyptians themselves have separated themselves from Africa. They are in Africa, but guess what? They do not consider themselves to be Africans. That is why they are called Egyptians, you stupid bitch. They are Egyptian. They are not African. My God, people are so fucking stupid. Oh, my brain. Oh, I'm only reading this shit because I'm bored and I just saw it on fucking Twitter and it just came across my fucking feed and it's the only reason why I'm doing this shit. Oh, I can't stand stupid people. Okay, following a brief discussion about her process preparing for the overall Ayers, I hope I'm saying this last name, then inquired with James about whether or not the fact that nobody has seen it yet, but everybody is bashing it, has been the biggest career obstacle for you. I'm not gonna lie, that has to suck. Um, your show hasn't even came out yet, but people are already fuck not. They're already not fucking with your shit. It hasn't even been released yet. They're not fucking with it. They're saying that everything you, well, the main thing that you're doing is race swapping. You're race swapping history. Now you have a problem. You're race swapping history. Now you have a really big problem. People doing race swaps in fucking the movies that aren't historical at all, not touching history at all. They do it in comic books. They do it for not manga or anime. They don't Japanese people don't give a shit about that shit. So they keep shit the way it's supposed to be. But when you do it with comic books, they're race swapping in comic books. They even doing fucking changing their fucking sex and shit in there too. And they go into movies where they have certain characters, comic book characters, or fucking Little Mermaid and shit. They just start race swapping every goddamn thing, and yeah, people are complaining about it, but it's not like, how can I say this? It's not an overarching big deal. Like, it is a problem. Like, I can complain and bitch all day about the race swapping, but I don't. I go to work, I come home, I play my game. I might every now and again see some bullshit about race swapping. Most of the time, I'll just fucking ignore it because if I ignore it, you guys don't get money. You guys don't get attention, therefore you don't get money. If I continue to talk about it, you'll get attention, and then people will start getting interest in it, and they'll go to your shit, and they'll start, watching or reading your shit, and start giving you ad revenue, money, whatever. You start making money from the attention you're getting. Just like with Velma, people hated Velma, and it's getting a second season because everyone hate watched it. People are gonna hate watch Cleopatra. What people need to do is talk about it, say this shit sucks, and then don't watch it. Just leave it the fuck alone. Pay it no more attention after that. Say your piece, like I'm about to. I'm about to say my piece, and then I will never touch it again. There was absolutely a lot of people saying very horrible things. I'm gonna need to see those horrible things. Mostly what I've seen is people just really don't like the race swapping and saying you're wrong, you're incorrect. She's not black, she's white, she's European, blah blah blah, all this and that stuff. And you guys are just race swapping because you're just inserting yourself into things that you probably shouldn't be. I've seen things like that. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything horrible yet. If But from what you're saying is when you're saying self-loathing or self-hating, basically what you're saying is if you're black or Egyptian or African and you're literally saying, hey, Cleopatra was not black, that's self-hating. And that's what 9 times out of 10, that's what people who are black are going to say against about other black people or people who they believe are black like them, in a sense of the word. If they don't agree with you, you're self-hating, you're coon, you're this, you're that. Yeah, it's basically the same thing, but she just putting a nice little spin on it by saying it's just self-hate. She said, I think that's so important to remember that, like, in the grand scheme of things, there were some people who lost their minds over it. No, it hasn't been out that long. It hasn't even come out yet. People are like actual people who study history are coming out over and over again because they're just now getting word of it, saying, yeah, this is incorrect as hell. You need to stop doing this. This is wrong. um, but there was a lot of really positive responses immediately as well, and it's consistent. People are so excited. I'm getting messages all the time. Yes, you're getting messages from ancient people who believe in that, in diversity and inclusion, and believe that race swapping is a good thing. But guess what? Those people aren't going to watch your shit. That's the thing. All these people want is for it to exist and for them to see it. Like when I've mentioned before, when they've done fucking comic books, when they were sitting there saying there's not many black people, not many black heroes or black villains, or not many black this or that. Like they exist. They did it in the Harley Quinn show that one time when they sat there and race swap fucking Catwoman. I was pissed off about that when they sat there and had her sit there and say the only black person in here was Black Manta. Bitch, that is the writer's fault. There are plenty of other black villains that exist that they could have put in this show, but they have not. The only black legitimate character that they have in the show is Black Manta, and that's the writer's fault. Every other black person or villain that they or hero that they put in here, that they put in the show, were race swapped. That is the writer's problem. No one else's. If they don't read the comics and give any kinds of a shit about black characters, that's on them. You should be saying, hey, there are plenty of black characters, put them in the show. If you really want diversity and inclusion. There are black characters that exist, put them in the show. That's what you should be saying. But these people are not saying that because they don't give a shit about the comic books and they don't care about these characters. They're just saying, we want black people. Put it in the show. That's it. You put it in the show, you race swap a bunch of people to be black, and then they don't watch it. They don't watch it. They don't buy any of your shit. They're just saying, ha, there it is. Diversity and inclusion. We have it. I like to see this, but they only see it in the news and the headlines. They're not going to actually watch the shows. They're going to praise you all day long, but they're not going to watch your shit. That's the problem. That's why people are going. That's why Disney is losing out on money big fucking time. This is why they're losing out on so many fucking subscriptions on Disney Plus and shit. Because the people who want diversity inclusion are not watching your shit. They just want you to do it. They just want you to race swap. They just want to see a black person in the show. They don't care how. They don't care how, but they will make any and every excuse online to justify your bullshit reasoning for race swapping a character, but they will not watch your shit. They won't watch your shit. You're digging yourself into a fucking hole by listening to the people who are praising you. They're praising you for doing something that does not make sense to do in the first fucking place. And because your head is up your own ass so fucking far that you're practically pregnant right now, you don't see it, that you're walking into a fucking trap. Pay attention to the other companies before you who have done this diversity inclusion shit and just been throwing race swap black characters into their shows and shit. Pay attention to the money they're losing. Pay attention to the comic book industry right now that is failing miserably because they're doing this diversity inclusion, race swapping, changing the sex of all these characters and changing straight characters into gay characters or lesbian characters and whatnot. They're losing money like a motherfucker. They are hemorrhaging money. They are failing right now. Open your eyes and pay the fuck attention. Because you're walking into a trap right now. You just don't see it. You just don't see it. But this is the biggest thing I have had to deal with in the public sphere. She then noted, it's the most I've had to navigate personally as an actress. This has definitely elevated my profile considerably on an international scale in a bad way, in a very bad way. The biggest show I had done before this was a television program here in the UK, the long-running British, I don't give a fuck, that does have repeats in other parts of Europe. But several years down the line in the UK, it's big. But outside of the UK, it's not as big. Okay. So this is like a whole nother scale of a project for me. Okay. I get you. This is your big project. Your first big project is going to get out to around, it's going to be worldwide. It's going to be broadcasted worldwide. You're happy for it. It's going to be a big bump in your career. I can see now why she is trying to defend this like as hard as she can. She might not even believe what the fuck she's saying when she's defending this shit. She might not believe it at all. This is her first big break. She's not gonna fucking ruin it. She's not gonna badmouth it. She's not gonna do that. It's her first big break. She's in it for the long haul. Even if it goes down, even though she's about to sink with the fucking ship, she don't give a fuck. It's her first big break. I get it. I get it now. I get it. It's still stupid, but I get it. I get it. I would say it's not wholly negative, Adele added. And actually, as time has gone on, those voices have gotten quieter and quiet. No, they haven't. No, they have not. They have not gotten quieter at all. I want them to get quieter because once they get quiet, that means they no longer have interest in you, which means you're not gonna make any money. You're gonna get the money that paid you per episode for this show. You're gonna get that money, but Netflix is probably gonna lose some money on this show itself. Just saying. Ayers then broached the topic of the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Archaeology recent criticism of the Netflix series as competing with the simplest historical facts in the writings of historians, to which James responded with dismissive laughter. Yeah, I know I shouldn't laugh, but it's quite funny. Please tell me why a person who is not, who I just, wow, it, please tell me. It's quite funny the level of threat that you must feel just on my skin tone to file a lawsuit against an entire streaming service. That to me is really extreme. It's a really extreme reaction. Now, them trying to sue you, that is extreme. That is extreme. Um, however, I when I believe he was the guy who went on who had an interview on I forgot what, I think it was CNN or Fox or something, but he did an interview on there and he was upset because everyone, even her, because you could tell by the way she was talking that everyone is conflating Egyptian culture with African culture and Black American culture, and it's like, no, Egyptians, Egypt and Egyptians are completely separate. Even though they're in Africa, they are not Africans. Egyptians are not Africans. Egyptians are Egyptians. Africans are Africans. They're completely two separate cultures. But for some odd reason, black people in America, or apparently black people in as a whole and everywhere around the fucking country, apparently lump Egypt and Africa all in one fucking bag, and they're just not. They're just not. They're completely different. James would then reveal that her defense of Netflix's race swapping was rooted in contemporary notions of race politics. It's always race politics with you fuckers. It always is. Claiming that the response from the Egyptian people was 100% fundamentally rooted in racism. Racism, which is a very modern ideology. Oh my fucking God. You are creating a show based on Egyptian history, and you're saying that the Egyptians themselves are racist because they don't like that you race swapped characters in a show about their own history. Bitch, I am flabbergasted. I am befuddled. I just, I can feel my brain cells dying. I am getting more and more retarded as the seconds tick by. I don't even want to keep reading. Like, wow. Wow. What kind of shit is that to say? To discredit someone? Like, you're not even discrediting him. You're really just showing how much of a moron you are and how racially motivated your actions for race swapping these characters in this show are. Everything you're doing is race politics because the Egyptians themselves, the people, are telling you what you're doing is incorrect and they're wanting you to change it. Shut up, phone. They're wanting you to change it. And you're saying that they are racially motivated through like race politics and shit. You're saying it's them when it's actually you. The ancient Egyptians, they don't think about race like we do. They're the ones complaining. They're the ones complaining. They are the ones complaining because race has only really been contextualized since the what? What was that sentence? Since the transatlantic slave trade. What is it? What? That's not how people thought back then, right? So it's really bizarre. But to me, I feel sad for. What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Why did you bring that? Why did you bring that up? Why did you bring? What does that have to do with anything that they're complaining about? Oh my God. Closing out their conversation about the Netflix series, Ayers ultimately asked James what she hoped critics could gain from watching the series. Probably fucking nothing. Well, if they watch it, if they give us some hate views, like they did Velma, I hope that they will understand that it's a debate. It's a conversation. It's not a definitive answer. For what, bitch? What conversation are we going to have? Oh, wait. It's the conversation that we're having right now about the fact that you guys are race swapping characters, but you call that racism. It's a debate about the fact of why are you guys race swapping? Is it okay to race swap? Oh, but that conversation is racist. It's not a definitive answer. Oh, it is. Stop race swapping. That's a very good answer. Stop race swapping. There's no reason to do so. If you're going to do a show, a documentary series about Egyptian history, maybe you should listen to the people who specialize in Egyptian history who are also from Egypt. I'm just saying. Just saying. And actually, the research on it is really interesting. And the people talking about it are really interesting. Like the people in Egypt who are telling you what you're doing is wrong, but you just basically try to dismiss them by saying they're racist. Hmm. But I'm sure they'll discover quite quickly that the series is about so much more than that. Cleopatra is no more reduced to what her heritage may or may not have been than I am, or any of us. We're all full human beings, and she was a full human being, a person. And that's what this is about. She's a full human being who was white, not black. Why couldn't you just keep her white? If you race swapped anyone else in the show, why did you do that? Why couldn't you just kept them as the race that they should have been? Diversity and inclusion matters, right? Why don't you just go and get actual fucking Egyptians to play those roles? Don't want to talk about that now, do you? did they do that? Oh, poor. Yeah, yeah. That's what apparently that's what Cleopatra looks like. Definitely not this woman. Definitely not this woman. Not one bit. Not one fucking bit. Anyway, I am done getting a brain aneurysm from this stupidity. But yeah, but she is yeah, that bitch got problems. She got fucking problems. Blackwashing isn't a thing. Is it? Like, yes, bitch. Blackwashing is a thing. They did it with Starfire. They did it with fucking Starfire, April O'Neil. Um, hell, they did it. Fucking Catwoman, Hawkman, Hawkgirl. That's all just that. Those three is just from fucking Music Meister. That's just from fucking Harley Quinn show alone. Um, who else did they do it with? They did the Little Mermaid. Uh, then that's like seven right now. Who else? They did it with oh, who was it? It was on Supergirl. It was Supergirl. They changed Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen. They changed him into a tall, sculpted black guy. Um, there was more. There's a lot more actually. There's a lot more. But yeah, recently. Oh, I just thought of her. It was a Netflix series. It was She's in my brain because I did a video about it because it was bullying Mermista. There it is, Mermista. They changed Mermista into that in that new fucking shitty She-Ra show into a black chick. And then they bullied this one girl off of fucking Twitter because she did a fan drawing of the original Mermista, who was white. And they bullied her for that by saying, Mermista is black. Why are you whitewashing her? It's like, bitch, you clearly not a fan of the old show because Mermista is fucking white from the fucking get-go. Why did y'all blackwash her if you want to talk about washing anything? But yes, it's a thing and it needs to stop. And especially what you're doing right now. Like, that's not Cleopatra. Anyway, I'm fucking done.